Girl's first day of school transfer. She didn't expect her period to suddenly gush out, but she didn't notice anything unusual. At that moment, the school bully next to her reminded her.
You dropped something?
The girl looked down and she saw the blood flowing on the floor. She was stunned on the spot. At that moment, the other students made various moves to laugh at the girl. The girl stood up in embarrassment. She used her hand to try to cover up, but she didn't expect this action to cause laughter. It was Mary's first time to have her period, but she didn't expect it to come so suddenly. When she thought of her classmates' ridicule, she burst into tears. At that moment, there was a sudden knock at the door. Mary looked and saw that it was some female students. They brought Mary a clean, warm coat. Before they left, they comforted Mary. This is what every woman will experience. They told her not to take it to heart, and so Mary became good friends with them. But the school bully wasn't going to let her go. When Mary came to school the next day, the bully came up to her and started to verbally insult her again. He claimed that he had a quick way to stop the bleeding. Mary's anger was instant. Gently pushed. She pushed the bully several thousand meters away. Everyone was stunned on the spot. Soon, Mary was called to the office to educate the mind. At that moment, Mary suddenly heard someone call him.
If you can hear this, you're fourth.
After hearing this, Mary immediately got up and went to the bathroom. However, just before she got out of her seat, she was deliberately tripped by the school bully. Mary did not choose to pester this time. She rushed to the hallway. She found the three sisters waiting for her outside. It turns out that these three girls are all descendants of witches, and the fact that Mary can hear the words means she's a witch too. After class, they went to the woods and set up a spell. After reciting a spell, time suddenly stood still. Even the crows in the sky floated in the air. The sisters' abilities were officially lifted at this moment. Then they went to the school bully's house, ready to start the revenge plan. The coven came to the school bully's house, ready to teach each other a good lesson. They found the school bully's personal belongings. Then they applied all kinds of magic to it. But at that moment, the school bully suddenly rushed back. At the critical moment, Mary released the time standstill magic. Then several people quickly left the scene. After this incident, the school bully's character suddenly changed. Not only did he become extremely soft-spoken, even began to defend the dignity of Mary and others. When the coven saw such a school bully, they were stunned on the spot. It seemed that their magic had worked. In the evening, they were going to a party, but as soon as they walked into the party, they were confronted by a blonde girl who taunted them.
Period pieces.
Mary was so angry that she instantly got a headache, so she left the scene. The other sisters saw this and started to fight for Mary.
Super cool to shame other girls. You're the best. It's so sad that you, try to look pretty.
On the other hand, Mary meets the school bully in the hallway. The school bully said he was sorry for what happened before and hoped that Mary could forgive him. Looking at such a gentle and handsome school bully, Mary forgave him on the spot. After this incident, the school bully and Mary's feelings quickly warmed up. Mary also cast a love spell on the school bully's clothes. That night, they played poker. After the bully left, Mary was still in a state of joy. But the next day in class, Mary received a piece of bad news. The principal said that the school bully had died last night. Mary was dumbfounded when she heard it. The other witches were also puzzled. They all thought it must be the magic that killed the school bully in the first place. But then Mary said, yesterday she had also cast a spell on the school bully. After hearing this, the coven was instantly enlightened. They all agreed that Mary had killed the school bully. After this incident, Mary was isolated again. And who is the murderer of the school bully? After being abandoned by her sisters, Mary started having nightmares every day. She told her mother that she wanted to leave the place, but her mother thinks it's all because of the school bully's death. Mary heard that her mother was saying this because she didn't want to leave her stepfather. She said that because she didn't want to leave her stepfather, so she sneaks into her stepfather's room in the dark. She started looking around. On a file, she discovered that her mother was not her mother, and that her stepfather was actually a witch hunter. So the school bully's death was probably related to her stepfather. Mary was stunned when she read it. She went to her adoptive mother to explain, but she didn't say a word about it. Then Mary goes to the church to attend the school bully's funeral. She told the coven that her stepfather was actually a witch hunter. She hopes we can help her, but the coven is still reeling from the death of the school bully, so they don't help. Mary leaves the scene sadly. At that moment, her foster mother suddenly came up to comfort her, but Mary used her magic accidentally. The adoptive mother was knocked down. When the coven saw this, they thought that Mary was not yet able to control magic skillfully, so they chose to seal Mary's magic. At that moment, Mary had just left the church. The foster mother had been waiting outside the door for a long time. The foster mother was ready to take Mary away from the place of trouble, but during the conversation, Mary realized that something was wrong. It turned out that the foster mother was the disguise of her stepfather. Then Mary realized, so the school bully was killed by her stepfather, but it was already too late. Mary lost her magic and was knocked to the ground by her stepfather's fist. Mary was then taken to a wooded area by her stepfather, just as her stepfather was about to kill Mary. When he was about to kill Mary, but the stepfather suddenly stood still. It turns out that the coven had just sensed that Mary was being threatened, so they rushed to the scene in time. Soon Mary's power was restored again. At that moment, her stepfather was also released from his seal. The magical witch used the barrier to send her her stepfather flying. But the stepfather's magic was very powerful. Several people were no match for him. Soon the coven was defeated. At this critical moment, Mary suddenly remembered the strongest formation before. They gathered around the stepfather and began to recite a spell. Soon, a fire of tens of degrees flared up around the stepfather. The stepfather died instantly. The Northwest Coven returned to normal life, and Mary found her real mother at the end. From then on, Mary and her mother lived a happy life.